Arts. Hello everyone and welcome to this special episode in the Ravenscraft Arts Interviews Project. I started this interview project to try and reach out to some of the people that inspired me and got me interested in my path. Thought if we could learn a little bit more about these inspirational people's lives, we could learn how to do these great things ourselves. And amazingly, I got a huge response. What I learned from all of this and learning about the laws of magic and the people that I've been talking to is mostly about just having a positive mindset and being more self-aware, and that you are really in control of your reality and you have the power to change it. You just have to change your perspective on everything. And once you learn yourself, then you can begin to help others. I believe this is one of the greatest times to be alive. We can communicate and share knowledge with each other at the touch of a button. So we all really need to take advantage of this. I believe we can all learn something from everybody. So I hope this inspires somebody out there to keep pushing and keep doing what they're doing, because you can do it. In this interview, I get to sit down with Ravdis Rasmussen, a very talented and influential person in my practice. Ravdis is a Danish pagan artist with a very unique style and mix of craft and arts. There are a few places you can see his work online. This page, Ravdis Heathen Artwork on Facebook, features a lot of his art and paintings and drawings. If you're into the more magical aspect of his work, check out his Facebook page Ravdis at Skrethy. On this page, he uses a variety of techniques ranging from Norse-themed magic, folk magic, trolldom, setter, shamanism. He is also very skilled in creating psychological and visual manipulation. He also works with something called Galdrastafir. Galdrastafir are Icelandic magical symbols that appear in our history as far back as the 1400s. The word Galdrastafir broken down, Galdra meaning magical and Stafir meaning sticks or staves. It is said that they used to carve these symbols on tools and items and staffs. These intentions and energies put into these symbols triggers something in the mind and in the environment. These can aid you in many ways, manifesting the desires or the results that you want to achieve. Ravdis seems very connected with nature and performs rituals and practices that may seem disturbing or violent to some of us, but he is actually a very humble person. He lives on a self-sufficient farm and seems to have a lot of respect for animals and the nature around him. I believe Ravdis understands the true way to live, taking only what is needed as well as giving back. One more topic I wanted to discuss with you before we get into this interview is Ravdis has a special book coming out that he has created called the Skuggabók, or the Book of Shadows. This deluxe edition book is being handcrafted and handmade in Colombia by an amazingly talented business called Editorial Ophio Latria. If you look them up on Facebook, you can find some more amazing things that they've made. In my research, I have read that there's a possibility of them posting 24 special unique series books that are connected to each one of the Futhark runes. This book will contain interpretations of runic magic from the Eddas and archaeological findings for anyone that wants to learn more about their path. Ravdis is a very knowledgeable person and he likes to share and work with others. He has done some cover art for the band Hellseer and other work with Fawn and the band Leaf. Ravdis is one of the greatest artists and creators of our time, in my opinion, and I know he has some great things coming for us, and I just wanted to explain some stuff about him before we got into this interview. So I just want to say thanks again to all the viewers, and thanks to Ravdis for doing this, and like I always say, stay on the positive path. First off, I just want to thank and welcome you to the Ravenscraft Arts Interviews Project. This is Ravdis. He is a very talented Danish pagan artist and practitioner. His work is very unique and powerful. You're involved in the Danish Witch Association.
Yeah. I used to be the chairman. Yeah.
Well, my first question kind of is, what specific area or following do you practice? I know it's kind of hard to label these things, but, how would you categorize it?
Well, my primary interest and how I got into heathenism and witchcraft and all these kind of things was an interest in magic, especially in Danish folk magic. So that was kind of the starting point. There's a tradition of witchcraft in Denmark that's partly based on heathen traditions and on medieval witchcraft traditions. So that's kind of how I got into this, and I was more focused on the heathen aspects because it spoke more powerful to me. I felt more connected with that part. So that's kind of the way I just went.
Right. Did you have any mentors or anything, people who inspired you on your path?
Yeah, definitely. A few local historians actually. One historian called Helge Kvisttoft. He's still alive. He lives in this local area, and he used to run a inn in the forest nearby. And he was so frustrated because people kept asking him about local folk tradition and folk magic because this area is really known for it. So he started researching it like 20 years ago, and he's like dedicated his life to research local folklore and folk magic. So I base a lot of my stuff on his studies, but also a Danish witch called Dani Drohyl, who is a famous Danish witch who also based a lot of her stuff on the Danish folklore traditions, but also incorporated Wicca and stuff like that into her practice. But she's also someone who really inspires me. And I have met both persons, in person and talked to them from time to time. Important thing, if you're doing these kind of things, is like sorting out, finding people and contacting them, and
right.
Building up a network. I came into this with an interest in witchcraft and in magic, and I didn't actually get into this to get into any kind of religion or spiritual practice as such, but the spiritual aspects kind of follows with the magic. So yeah, I look at it as a spiritual thing, but I don't consider myself religious.
Right. The reason I asked that is because I feel like it should be open, and it's kind of the part of the process to open your mind to everything.
If it works, it works, I usually say. But one of the things that annoys me when I, look at the online community on Facebook and as such, is that there's a lot of people out there who get things really mixed up, and they claim there is some historical significance to these things that they are making up or combining in a total weird fashion, when it's obviously some really weird connections you're making.
That's kind of the thing I wanted to ask you. It's kind of like once you reprogram your mind to actually believe it yourself, that's when it takes effect. That's when it actually works. If you believe it, it is real.
Exactly. I very much base a lot of my practice on, or let's say I base a lot of my techniques on chaos magic, on modern chaos magic. That's a really modern thing. But the thing about chaos magic is that it has like a framework to understanding magic that you can apply to anything.
Right, but I think, the first step in doing that, the first step is believe it yourself and make sure that you truly believe it before you can affect anyone else or the world.
Yeah, exactly. And there are several ways of doing this. You could go into it and surround yourself with the spiritual energy that you feel is necessary for you to believe in what you're doing, and you can live with that. You could make it a part of your constant reality. And then what most people probably do on a conscious or subconscious level is that they live their ordinary lives, and then they create temporary bubbles of magic or insanity or whatever around them.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am. I'm kind of secluded. I mean, in the area that I am, if I was to be expressive of what I do, I think I would be judged, and I just wouldn't need.
Yeah. and also it's like in modern day today, if you practice magic and witchcraft and these things, you automatically become kind of ambivalent, because you're like walking the edge of, we have all this technology and all this knowledge about quantum physics and everything, and we have magic that's like, there's no science there. It's like, we walk that edge. And sometimes that gets really hard, you have to be able to walk sometimes on both sides of the line.
Right.
And if you get my drift, what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And that can become really hard for some people. Some people just falls on either side of the line, so to speak, and becomes totally spiritual people that totally deny science, or some people slip on the other side, But I feel as a practitioner that takes my work seriously and also enjoys the academic values, I have to walk that line, and that becomes really hard sometimes.
Yeah, see, I believe practicing magic and these things can really help you get into that positive mindset and start controlling your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it can also be harmful, because you could use it as a escape from reality, much like if you became an alcoholic or a drug abuser.
Right.
Magic and spirituality can become an escape from reality.
Almost like an obsession.
Yeah, and you have to watch out that doesn't happen to you, because then you're on the road to going full retard, and no one wants that.
Another question I want to ask you is, are you open with your practice and celebrations?
I grew up in a pretty normal family here in Denmark. Not a religious family at all. We didn't go to church or anything. I was baptized, but later I wrote to the church and I told them I didn't want to be a member anymore. So I'm not a member of the church anywhere in Denmark. And that was like when I was, I think, 12 years old. And there was no problem in my family with that. And everyone knew I had an interest in these things, in ghosts and folk tales and magic and stuff like that. And no one really, I never heard anything from my family about it. I never had any problem with my kids in school. Everyone has been interested and supportive of what I'm doing. So I guess I'm pretty lucky there.
Yeah, and I'd have to say, man, what you are doing is good. I encourage you to keep doing it. It's helping people. It's helped me. I mean, I keep sigil on my desk actually called the Kunststav. And, at first I didn't believe it, and it sat there for almost 6-7 months now. And I'm not going to say it's the base behind everything, but it definitely did help when I look at it. It puts it in your mind. It's supposed to boost artistic inspiration and motivation, and that's exactly what has happened since I've been studying these things. I've been evolving and doing things that I would never done before, and it's amazing.
Yeah, these things are like, they trigger something. So these kinds of sigils that you have lying on your work desk or something like that, they definitely trigger something in you. And I have no doubt in it. It's working. I've done a lot of magic over the years, and I have seen a lot of weird shit happening. And I have sometimes, how did that happen? And over the years, I just come to that conclusion that it works, and I don't think much more about it. I just put it out there now.
Well, I mean, look what it's done for you. I mean, being expressive, you've met some influential people as well. Like, I think you've met Wardruna and Einar Selvik.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't so expressive in doing those things, that probably would have never happened. It's just amazing how these things can bring people together, and, I think it's really good to do this.
Yeah, I have been contacted by a lot of artists, musicians. So I wasn't contacted by Wardruna by any chance. It was just coincidence. I was at the same runic seminar where Einar also was. Yeah. So that's how I met him. But I've been contacted by, I did some work for Faun, that's a German band. Yeah, and I've been working for Helisier, and I'm currently doing some stuff for the next album Leaf is making.
Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah, so yeah, and I wouldn't have met those people or had those opportunities if I wasn't putting my stuff out there for people to see.
Right. What I'm trying to do with putting these videos out there is trying to inspire people and tell them that there is something to better your life, and you never know what can happen, what it can lead to.
You just have to be, you have to be steadfast and just keep on doing it.
Right.
Pushing on.
Right. Well, I mean, I encourage you maybe to come to the U.S. sometime. I know you got a good following here. I think you could inspire a lot of people. You can come party with us. We'll show you how we do things. You show us how you do things. I think it would be beneficial to a lot of people.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I've been invited, to come to America by a few people now, and I've been invited to come to Colombia, and it might happen someday. Right now, we live on a small farm, and we try to live from self-sufficiency. So we have, animals and crops and stuff like that. So it's at the moment it's pretty impossible for me to get away from here.
Yeah, I hear you. I got kids too, and it's hard to get anything done these days. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you again for doing this and being a part of this. I'm releasing these, videos as a series to try to inspire people to recognize us and, build a bigger foundation and circle for us. So.
Yeah, and the interesting work and a really great idea. I'm looking forward to checking out some of the videos. I checked out some of your earlier videos. Definitely were aware of the stars and how the sky worked. Because obviously they used it both for navigation and other things, so of course they were aware of them. But you're right. It's really hard to find stuff relating to the stars. The further you go back in Nordic history.
I'm studying a vast variety of topics, and I don't want to feel like I'm dishonoring the gods or, doing that, but I think that's the whole process, because I asked them to show me the knowledge, and this is what's happening.
Yeah, I think if you're being honest about your path, the path you're walking, if you're being honest to yourself, being honest to others, you can't dishonor anything. You can't dishonor the gods or anything, because you're doing what you're feeling is right. And that's probably the most important thing to do, is to be honest towards yourself, towards others, and do what feels right.
All right. Well, yeah, I just want to say thanks again. We're waiting for some more videos. I kind of want to give you some feedback from me. I would suggest maybe just kind of some short videos of maybe a ritual or a practice that you do. That really helps, to teach us that we are doing it right, so we're kind of having an idea or a base to do things.
Yeah, I might have some footage of me performing rituals. I'll see if I can find any. Okay. But otherwise, we could do something.
I just wanted to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, because everything you put out, I'm constantly on it and watching for it, and I know a lot of other people are, so you're doing good things, and I want to encourage you to keep doing it.
Thank you, and you too. Keep pushing, man. It's so good to see people, applying content. It's important.
Yeah, I agree, man. All right, well, take care. Have a good night. Yeah, we'll talk again hopefully soon.
Sure.
I just want to say thanks again to Ravedis for doing this, and thanks for everyone that was involved. I look forward to working with more people on this project, so contact us if you want to get involved. I also wanted to mention, if you're really interested in Ravedis's work, you can check his Patreon page out. You can donate to him as little as $1 a month, up to however much you want. But you get secret access to unreleased information. He explains a little more about the things that he does. So it's worth it, man. He gives us great knowledge, so help him out. Let's check out his Patreon page. I got the link up. Got a lot more coming for you, and like I always say, stay on the positive path.